panel now and discuss why it is there's cause for celebration for the prosecution tonight. We have Susan Constantine, jury consultant. We have defense attorney Sarah Azari. We have Eric Bland, lawyer for Murdaugh's deceased housekeeper, and professor emeritus at Harvard Law School, Alan Dershowitz. It's good to have each and all there. First of all, let's go to you, Eric Bland. This is obviously the verdict that you believed justice demanded all along. That victory lap is because it is not a given, no disrespect to South Carolina, but that when you have the privilege, the power, the money, the reach into a community and a case that gets complicated, if they had lost, there would have been a lot of fingers pointed at them as to why. Why do you feel right about this verdict, and what does it mean to your community?
Well, in the words of the jury in the play, The Producers, this jury found Alex Murdaugh incredibly guilty. They said that he's going to have to drink from the same cup of justice as all other murderers. And I'm not saying that, hey, I was right and everybody else on all these programs was wrong, because they're not. They had very good points that they made about the state's case. But there's a lot to be said about South Carolina soil and lawyering on South Carolina soil for years and years, and understanding our juries. And this was not going to be an O.J. Simpson jury. This was a jury that listened to the evidence and really understood that power and privilege was on trial as much as Alex Murdaugh. And this jury came back fast, certain, and clear. And I think you're going to see a certain sentence tomorrow by this judge that'll speak to the fact that Alex Murdaugh committed 2 heinous murders against family members with multiple weapons. And I would be surprised if he gets anything else other than life.
So you're thinking it's going to be life without parole. Susan, let me bring you in here. Welcome to the show, and thank you. A juror had been dismissed, allegedly for emails sent to people that suggested, hey, we're all on the same page. Then she gets dismissed. She gets replaced, that juror. And 3 hours of deliberation. Is it safe to say that she was telling the truth? Because a quick verdict doesn't necessarily mean prosecution or defense, but it certainly means passion and a strong degree of unanimity in the room.
Well, there had to be some sort of hidden communication with those jurors that she felt that way. So for her to say that everyone was feeling that he was guilty, there had to be some sort of eye contact, some sort of nonverbal communication that everybody was in sync with. But I have to share with you that the #1 lying number is the number 3. How ironic that is that he was found guilty in 3 hours. I think this jury did get it right. I was very concerned, just like you, Chris. I wasn't sure, when they come back in a couple of hours, they can go one way or another. And for any jury consultant or anyone in my field to say that they know for sure, guilt or innocent, they're not really telling you the truth, because you just never know. But one thing that I think that got him was really the body of evidence, the demeanor evidence, the pushing of this emotion, this crying and the extreme crying. I think that the jury got it because he was a persuader, a con artist from the very beginning, and he was still trying to con the jurors right there in the courtroom.
Professor Dershowitz, you've been teaching me for decades now. I remember a long time ago I was covering a case. I said, well, Professor, the guy's a liar. We know that much. And you said it depends what you lie about. It's not just whether or not they're a liar. And here, do you believe the fatal flaw was that the jury heard him say, yeah, I didn't tell the truth about the timing and circumstances surrounding the actual murders? Do you think that carried the day?
Oh, of course. The hardest decision in this case, it's the hardest decision in almost any criminal case, was the decision to put him on the witness stand. It was a very, very risky move. Once a defendant testifies in front of the jury, the rest of the case takes a minor role. No matter what the evidence is, jurors look the defendant in the eye and they come to a quick conclusion. Is this defendant credible or isn't he? And that's what determines the outcome. In my experience, I've done over 30 of these cases. In my experience, when you have a defendant taking the witness stand, the other evidence plays a lesser role. Now, obviously, the other evidence can help jurors decide whether to believe the defendant or not. But that was the key decision. Very risky. We don't know. I have to tell you, jails are filled with defendants who blame their lawyers either for putting them on the stand or for not putting them on the stand. Because if you don't put them on the stand, then, you hear the tape recording, you see the circumstantial evidence. If you do put them on the stand, then everything turns on what the jury thinks of this particular defendant. And they put him on the stand, and the verdict did not surprise me. The quickness of the verdict did not surprise me. When defendants testify, jurors come to, very often, fairly quick decisions.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.